Over the past 2 weeks, something remarkable has happened. Beaumont City Council has proposed a partnership with Banning to promote both cities, collaborating on matters such as animal control and traffic management. This is momentous development.
I'm definitely for adding another day to get Animal Action League out here for a third day. We don't really have a lot of low-cost spay and neuter nearby.
There is a very big problem and crisis within the cities of Beaumont and Banning with animals on our streets, both young puppies and older dogs. If we want to truly tackle the root of this crisis, we need to focus on prevention. This is why I am also asking the council to allocate funding towards low-cost spay and neuter clinic days through Animal Action League. Bringing Animal Action League mobile clinic here on a regular basis would make a significant difference in reducing the number of unwanted animals in our community. The cost of funding these clinics is minimal compared to the long-term expense of dealing with the consequences of pet overpopulation.
Seems like a no-brainer to start with. We will all jump at those opportunities to help our animals. Each other, sometimes not so much, but we don't have a problem with animals, and so it's an easy thing for everyone to get behind.
Okay, well, I think it's a good thing because they're the ones that have been coming around and making the time and effort to show up to our community at Ripley Park. And I've had several family members bring their animals there. I've taken my cat there as well.
Spay and neuter, that's what's going to help. One cat can have 7 kittens in one season, and they go through 2 or 3 seasons a year. If Animal Action League hadn't been here, we would have been up to our elbows in cats and dogs. The prices that they charge are nothing compared to going to the vet. And they really have a heart for animals.
I'm for the spay and neuter clinic if it is for the right people who are over the funding. But there are individuals that are bringing it to you guys that I have my own concerns being in rescue, dealing with them, as a lot of other shelters and rescues do as well.
It's kind of hard that we have questions and we have nobody here to really answer them.
Right.
So I suggest that we should table this. I hate to, but it's kind of hard to vote on something when you don't have the answer to a lot of questions.
I agree with Mr. Miller. I'm really disappointed that the representative from Animal Action League couldn't be here tonight.
Okay, so the motion is to table it, and there was a second, so let's vote. Okay, passes 5-0. Consideration of Resolution 2025-20, directing city manager to reestablish animal shelter at Charles Street facility and authorizing animal shelter staff.
I worked for 6 years at the Mary S. Roberts Pet Adoption Center in Riverside, 2 years as an adoption counselor, and 4 years as the volunteer services manager. When I learned of the termination of the city's contract with Erie Animal Rescue in 2024, I started paying attention to the city's plans for animal control. In January 2024, I came before the council to caution against terminating that contract without a Plan B that did not involve the Riverside County Department of Animal Services. Building our own animal shelter in the city of Banning and potentially allowing it to serve residents of the entire San Gorgonio Pass, you will be taking a heavy burden off of the shoulders of the Riverside County Department of Animal Services. This would reduce the number of animals the county would need to euthanize, make it easier for residents of Banning and the San Gorgonio Pass to claim their own lost pets, and easier for residents to turn in strays. I was glad to see the acknowledgement that the old buildings on Charles Street are in need of repairs. Those repairs can be made. That facility can function as a very temporary shelter for pets as long as the city makes the necessary repairs. I'm a strong believer in something being better than nothing, and right now we have nothing. It has fallen to residents of Banning to house and stray animals, as well as residents of Beaumont. I and a few other passionate people with experience in animal welfare and nonprofits are ready to create a nonprofit whose mission is to support a shelter built in the San Gorgonio Pass.
For too long, our community has lacked the basic resources needed to handle the growing crisis of stray, abandoned, and abused animals. Instead, the burden has fallen on people like me, private citizens who refuse to stand by while these animals suffer. Every day we delay action, more lives are lost. I understand that I am a newly established nonprofit, but that does not mean that I am inexperienced or incapable. I have been stepping up where our cities have failed, rescuing animals off the streets, finding them safe placements, and ensuring they receive the medical care that they need when needed. We can't afford to wait years. I have done everything I possibly can in my own home to pick up where our cities are lacking, but it's not enough. My heart and my passion can support many more animals than my space physically allows. I am asking the city to step up and support us. We need funding, resources, and more importantly, space. If we secure what we need, we can have our sanctuary up and running within months, at most, maybe a year. This is not in a place of a city shelter, but rather in partnership with one. It is inevitable that some animals entering the system will be deemed unadoptable. That is where my sanctuary would step in. I urge you to take immediate steps towards a sustainable and humane action.
I am concerned about the effect that we are dealing with as a result of not starting at the bottom. Every animal owner has to have the animal licensed, and there has to be a code enforcement program that ensures that that is done. We need to revamp the code, then enforce it, and make sure we make it easy for people to have their animals spayed and neutered, vaccinated.
I'm part of a group that is wanting to form the nonprofit Friends of the San Gorgonio Pass Animal Shelter, so that if you do indeed form the shelter, we are going to be there to help support it. There's a lot that could be done by a nonprofit supporting the shelter.
I would like to see us open our shelter again. I worked on that shelter 30 years ago with Bill Bellamy. The lady who donated the money for that building was about $650,000 that built that building.
Yeah, after the tour of that facility, I'm torn. There's some that believe that is you can restore that property. I'm of the opinion that it's so dilapidated it would have to be started from the ground up. That's up for discussion. But I am for reopening that up and having something in our community.
I agree that that is not a long time solution at all. But we need to do something as soon as possible. It's going to cost us a little money, but this is what the citizens of Banning want.
The office building is in bad shape. It's rat infested. Walls have been chewed. I personally believe that building can be rehabbed and cleaned up enough to make and use for possibly a cattery. My suggestion to Doug when we toured the site was to bring in a modular to use for an office building. The kennels, I believe, are in fairly good shape. It can't be long-term because there's only 35 kennels there. The capacity isn't more than 60 or 70 dogs, I don't believe. How do we do it? How do we go about putting all of these great ideas into play? I believe we need to partner with the rescues. I mean, none of us have ever operated a shelter. I don't want to dig into the past, but I don't want to repeat past mistakes. I don't know if the solution is to form a committee of 2 council people and the rescues and concerned residents. I mean, we're all on the same page. We all agree that something needs to be done and something needs to be done right away. But how are we going to do it?
Possibly working with other cities, Morongo, Calamasa, Beaumont, us, and try to get a state-of-the-art pass area shelter built. Because we're pretty much ignored out here by the county. I've talked to them. They will not build a shelter out here. I am very positive about working with Beaumont. I would like to table this until the ad hoc committee, we can set it up and meet with Beaumont and then meet with these other groups and then report back to you. You know, Charles can maybe possibly renovate it. Maybe that is one of the solutions. But we may have other solutions. We may have a solution in Beaumont. We may have a solution, you know, that Morongo wants to propose. So it's kind of opened up a lot of new doors here. Okay, 5-0 to table the motion.